What's happening, everybody? My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's wonderful to have you along for the ride. So last night, I was out and about at Ray Didinger's play, Tommy and Me, where I was hosting the talk back afterwards. I did a little Q&A with Ray there, and then the cast. The cast was amazing. It was the third time I saw Tommy and Me. If you haven't seen it yet, you get an opportunity to see it. It's like sold out forever, but it's going to open again, and it's going to open again, and it's going to open again and again and again. Make sure you go see Ray Didinger's Tommy and Me. It's a fantastic play. I was not around for Tommy McDonald's career. I had the great fortune of meeting Tommy McDonald, Eagles' great Hall of Fame wide receiver, and he was awesome. If you know anything about Tommy McDonald and the energy that he always brought, that's exactly who he was when I met him, and I talked to him for maybe 5 minutes. And I met him a couple of times after that at like Eagles events and stuff like that. The one time I actually really got to talk to him was at this pep rally. And he comes up, he just happens to be walking my direction, and I get a chance to talk. He's by himself. And he just comes up and he's like, "Hey there, fella," like with all this energy in the world. And I was wearing like a WIP t-shirt because I was on the street team at the time. And he just stopped and talked to me. And I was like, "What is that?" Like, "Hey, yeah, Tommy, how you doing? It's so nice to meet you." And he's like, "How great is this? This is amazing that so many people came out to support the Eagles. The Eagles are going to be great. It's going to be a great team. And it's going to be great. And okay, I got to go. I love you, man. Bye." And I was like, I love you too, Tommy McDonald. I knew of the legend of Tommy McDonald. I didn't expect him to be like your favorite uncle when you met him. But that's exactly what he was. And this play captures that. And the gentleman that plays Tommy McDonald captured it so well. So if you get a chance to see it, see it. Anyway, that's why I'm late again today, because Ray and I just went out last night and just got hammered. No, I'm kidding. Of course, that's not what happened. We exchanged pleasantries, caught up for a minute, and then we were on our way. One of the things I love about Ray Didinger, for all the knowledge Ray Didinger has about football and a multitude of other things, I'm getting ready to leave. My parents came to the show. They hadn't seen it yet. My mom and dad were there. They loved it. My dad grew up in this area. You guys know me. My mom is from Baltimore. But my dad grew up in this area. So the play really brought back a lot of memories for him. And that was cool to hear some of those stories about, I went with your Uncle George and your Uncle Sonny. We went to the game at, Franklin Field. And I remember we had these tiny little sections on the bleachers where you had to fit your butt. And if you didn't fit that butt, that'd be a problem. So it was nice hearing those stories from my dad. But the play is fantastic, and they got a chance to meet Ray after. And for all the things you love about Ray, as I'm leaving, and I'm like, "All right, Ray, thanks again, man. Great seeing you." He's just like, "So Mark, what do you think about Sunday?" I'm like, Ray Didinger's asking me what I think about Sunday, and I'm like, I like the Eagles on Sunday. I like them to beat the Commanders. He's like, "So do I." Like, it's just speaking about meeting people, like meeting Tommy McDonald, meeting Ray Didinger, he's exactly what you would want him to be. He's never different from what he is. Like there's no facade with Ray Didinger. And I think most of Philadelphia has met him by now. But if you haven't, that's just who he is. And I always liken it to, for all the football stories this guy has, if we're ever in the same room with other football people, he'll always tee me up for something along the lines of, "Hey, Mark, what was it like working with Coach?" And Coach is John Madden. And he'll tee me up for my Madden story, which I'm sure I've told a number of times on the show, but he'll tee me up for that Madden story. And I'm just like, well, the stories you have. I think Ray just likes every once in a while getting to take a break. And like, let me tee somebody else up to talk. And one of the many things you love about Ray. So if you get a chance to go see Tommy and Me, go see it. It is fantastic. It's an hour and 15. Yeah, it's a nice, great story in a good amount of time. How about that? So Jaden Daniels is really good at playing quarterback. How about that? We're going to get to this. I knew Jaden Daniels. You guys have heard me say this already a couple of times throughout the week. Jaden Daniels just won't die. And I looked up his fourth quarter numbers. Oh, man. He's got some really good fourth quarter numbers, as you would assume. Then his overtime numbers are also really good. So how about that? But we'll get into those numbers today. We'll get into Jalen Hurts' health. The Eagles quarterback addressed the media yesterday. We'll get into what Saquon Barkley thought about the Eagles quarterback and what he expects from him. We'll get into what A.J. Brown had to say about the Eagles quarterback and what he expects from them. We'll also get into Saquon Barkley talking about his favorite touchdown of his career, going all the way back to being just a wee peewee player. Penn State, Giants, Eagles, obviously. His favorite touchdown of his career just happened, and I think you know what I'm referencing. Also, hey, the Eagles started selling snow. Snow. I can remember, again, my mom being from Baltimore, I can remember when Memorial Stadium closed, and that's where the Orioles played before they were Camden Yards. And they sold dirt. They sold the dirt from the infield. Now, I'll liken it to also the veteran, when they closed Veteran Stadium, they sold the turf, little patches of the turf, and people bought that. Like, that's a unique thing. Like, I can't go outside and just pick up some turf and be like, oh, that's Veteran Stadium. Like, I'd have to actually go to a store, you know. But dirt, you can just be like, hey, you get any backyard, you know? You have a friend that has grass? There you go. Here's some dirt. But the Eagles, I don't even think they're selling the snow anymore. They sold the snow, and the snow sold out. Now, what snow is this? That's the snow from the divisional playoff victory over the LA Rams. They sold the snow. Now, nothing surprises me really much anymore, unfortunately. That's just a sign that I'm old. But Darius Slay was taken back by it and thought it was the coolest thing ever. We'll let you hear from Darius on that one. Slay from that one. Also, A.J. Brown. I admire the honesty. I have no problem with somebody acknowledging that snow is a bad thing to exist when you're trying to catch passes in the NFL. But I think he did it in the most perfect way. That 37-yard touchdown pass he would have had that he dropped, he said he would have caught had it not been snowing, essentially. He said, hey, look, it's not an excuse. When you know the elements are like that, your attention to detail has to go up. Mine didn't. 99 times out of 100, I catch that ball. Let's hear AJ on that one, and we'll continue to talk about Eagles Commanders. And there was a great story on Vic Fangio by Tim McManus of ESPN on the Fangio attitude from day one. And what I love about this attitude is that this is exactly the guy that they couldn't stand by the end of it in Miami. So all the things you heard about, too much of an old school guy, doesn't treat players like men, blah, 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 blah. No. Came in and just dropped the gauntlet. This is how it is now that I'm here. This is the way it's going to be. You don't like it? Maybe you're not going to be playing a lot. You're certainly not going to be putting up numbers, but I'm here now. And now means we work. Do you understand the cojones on somebody to say that to a room full of professional athletes, to a room full of football players that like barely have to practice throughout a week? And here you are in training camp getting things going. Here you are in training camp lobbying your head coach, Nick Sirianni, to be like, hey, dude, what we're doing here, this ain't work. It can't be Camp Cupcake all the time. We got to get reps. If you want this defense to be anything, we got to make things happen here at practice. And a 20-second practice session where you go out and do a jumping jack isn't practice. Might be a slight exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. And Jalen Hurts, as I mentioned, on his health. So without further ado, let's get to the Jalen Hurts commentary. Jalen Hurts took to the media yesterday, and he was asked, as you would assume, about his health.
How's the feeling from last game? What have the last few days been like?
Yeah, it's just been progressing, taking it a day at a time. Was able to participate today and be involved in stuff, so just taking it a day at a time.
You feel like you're still on track to play Sunday?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you'd be able to play like you usually do, like be able to run and do it?
Every game is different, so just want to take it a day at a time and continue to progress.
Okay. All right. Keep going. Here's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Jalen Hurts to be at like 85%. I'm not expecting much. I don't expect Jalen Hurts to be 100. That's for sure. That whatever that was, that looked rough. And after that, he looked different. The one piece of confidence I have is that they tried the tush push and it worked. And unfortunately, Lane Johnson got called for the false start. But at least they ran that play with him. And I thought, okay, that looks to be okay. At least got some push right there. But they literally, or at least got some drive out of his leg there. But they do call it the tush push for a reason. Jalen basically becomes the football and they carry him into the end zone. But they wouldn't have called that play if he couldn't get any push off his leg. And he got it. So on that, he looked good. Limited participant in the estimated practice report yesterday for Wednesday's walkthrough. That's what it came down to. I know he's going to be as optimistic as possible, but I'd rather hear from some other sources as to how Jalen Hurts is feeling. And they asked Saquon Barkley about what they expect from Jalen Hurts as a team.
Look, and what are you expecting out of him on Sunday?
I'm expecting Jalen to be Jalen. He's going to show up for us. He's going to make plays. He's a winner. He got that hit factor, like I've said multiple times. And, it's on us to go out there, too, and step up. We all got to step up, everybody. It's an opponent that we're familiar with, and they're familiar with us. And, they're playing great ball right now. Got a lot of confidence over there, too. So it's going to take all of us to go out there and win this game on Sunday.
You wouldn't expect anything else. At least, hey, Jalen's going to fight through it. I understand a lot of people just go to, hey, well, what do they got to say? Well, they could say, hey, no matter what it is, Jalen's going to fight through it. Jalen's going to be Jalen. I'll take that. Jalen's going to be Jalen. All right. Let's keep that going as much as humanly possible. A.J. Brown also talked about Jalen Hurts' toughness in trying to get through this injury.
I'm expecting him to come out and just, do what he does. And, he's a warrior. He went out for a little bit. They said Keenan was warming up. We looked up, and he was warming up. So that tells you everything about him. That doesn't surprise me. And if he is, I don't know. But in that game, he came back in the game, and he finished the game. So, so it says a lot about him.
When you're
Yeah, it says the guy is a warrior, according to his wide receiver that he apparently doesn't get along with as well as he once did. I heard nothing but great things from everybody talking about Jalen Hurts. And this is who Jalen Hurts is. Now, the one thing that I did find interesting is that he was asked about the finger. And again, it's his left, I think, pointer finger. So it's not his throwing hand. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's still a work in progress. Like, not 100%. He did acknowledge that wasn't 100%. But everything else, he expects to play. He expects to just be ready to go. How close to 100% is going to be a question. If I had to ballpark it, I'd say 85, maybe 90% is what I'd be guessing. There's just something about it that makes me go, I don't think we're going to see another 44-yard run for a touchdown by Jalen Hurts in this game. I hope I'm wrong. I just need him to keep the defense honest. All I need from Jalen Hurts is a 10-yard run and a slide. That's all I need. And I'll even say a 10-yard line and a very, very early slide. So if it's got to be 8 yards, fine. That's all I need from Jalen Hurts. So that Frankie Louvu, or whoever, public enemy number one as far as I'm concerned, Frankie Louvu, knows that when he's coming around the edge and there's Saquon Barkley with the ball in his belly, he's standing, wait, hold on, Jalen might take this as well. So let's not get crazy. So I loved what I had to hear. Encouraging from everybody. Same thing when Nick Sirianni didn't really get into it too much as far as Jalen Hurts' injury, but did talk about how he was going to be out there at practice. And obviously we knew that, seeing the practice report, or we found that out after the practice report came out. Quinyon Mitchell also was going to be out there and practicing. Same type thing for him. So everything is trending in the right direction on this Wednesday. Thursday, obviously, today is going to be the big day where we really find out what's going on with Jalen, see if he's a limited participant again. And if he is, then I will feel even more on point with 85 to 90% of how he's feeling going in this game when it comes to just a knee injury. So I'm hoping the full participant in practice with nothing holding him back. And maybe I'll up that to 95% or maybe even 99, where it's just the finger bothering him, So that's what I'll be rooting for when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Other than that, Saquon Barkley's season has just, it goes without saying how historic this season has been. And there is such a bond between a good running back and a good offensive line generally. It's always a special thing. You do well, you make us look great. We do well, we make you look great. That seems like it should always be a thing in the NFL. And for the most part, it is. But when it's as special as a 2,000-yard season, when it's as special as even setting a record for the most rushing yards in a single season and postseason combined, which Saquon Barkley's on pace to do again after a 200-plus yard game against the Rams in the divisional round. And then also doing all that while winning a Super Bowl could be the most historic season for one individual in Philadelphia Eagle history. Think about this. If Carson Wentz won the Super Bowl and not Nick Foles, let's just live in this world for a second, that might have been one of the most historic, if not the most historic single seasons. MVP, Super Bowl champion. Like, think about what could have been in 1 year. Think about what is happening right now with Saquon Barkley and all the accomplishments that are already there, playing in the NFC Championship game. They are 2 wins away from being Super Bowl champions, 1 win away, of course, from making it to the Super Bowl. Now, imagine for a second that this actually comes to fruition. This is going to be the greatest single season in Philadelphia Eagles history. T.O. doesn't get hurt. T.O. the MVP in 2004. I'm not saying that was going to be an absolute, but just, it could have happened. 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, I believe it was 13 touchdowns that year. And then he goes in the Super Bowl, plays in the Super Bowl. Eagles best player in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they lose the Super Bowl. But that could have been one of the most incredible years. If this all comes to fruition, it's the most incredible season. But Saquon Barkley's career, he has waited for this season. Wasn't going to happen with the Giants, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for us, but unfortunately for them. So Saquon came to Philadelphia. And one of the most publicized understanding of the inner workings of a free agency move ever. Thank you, HBO. Saquon became a Philadelphia Eagle. In his career, just in the NFL, 66 touchdowns, including the postseason. That's pretty good. But of all his touchdowns in the NFL, college, and before that, his 72-yard run against the Rams in the divisional round of the playoffs. Well, he's asked yesterday where he ranks that one.
Ever had it in a football game?
Yeah, that's probably my favorite touchdown so far of my football career since I was a little kid. Just the moment, the timing of it, the conversations that I had with myself, the stuff that I've been working on. It kind of all just came together in that moment. But also taught me a lesson, too, that in which I was still focused, but teaches you a lesson that even in that moment, there's still 4 minutes, or how much time is left, and before you know it, we're at the mercy of Matthew Stafford driving down the field. So, yeah, one of my favorite moments, but it's playoff football. You got to make the play and move on.
Imagine that. You put together your favorite moment in your career just like that. Now, as far as being the number 1 running back in the NFL, everyone's gunning for him, and he talked about that yesterday as well, and how much better they got to be as a running offense.
Statistically, I think we're one of the best rush teams, so we know that it's going to be a key focus on a lot of teams for especially Washington coming up. But whatever they want to do, we're ready for it. And at the end of the day, our mindset is just winning football games. So however it looks and whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes is exactly what you want to hear from your running back. And that's his attitude the entire way. And behind this offensive line, with his skill set, I don't see anyone that can stop. I mean, people talk about him being stopped in the second half against the Commanders. And for the most part, that's true. He was pretty much stopped in the second half. But what else happened in that game was in the first half, even when Jalen Hurts went out after 4 pass attempts, he was still able to rattle off, a 47, 50-yard run in that game. Second half, not so good. 47 yards in that second half. I don't expect that to happen again. Jalen Hurts has to keep this defense honest, both in that run game to open things up for Saquon Barkley. And then, hey, remember that passing game? That passing game is supposed to be, still hopefully not atrophied. Like to see that proven as well in the early goings of this game. And that's one of the things I actually liked about the game plan the Eagles had going into the Rams game, was that they came out and they were throwing the football. They got Dallas Goedert involved early. They got down the field. Obviously, Saquon had a big part of that as well. But they got down the field, and then Jalen Hurts broke off the 44-yard run. So they didn't get down the field that much, but they got down the field enough to set up that run for Jalen Hurts, and then he shed a tackler like it was nothing. So I love all that, and I hope all that comes to fruition again in this game. As far as the passing game does go, I've mentioned and yesterday gave it the number, about 107 yards were left on the field in the passing game on Sunday for the Eagles against the Rams. I love the honesty of A.J. Brown, usually, and he was completely honest when he was asked about the weather's impact in that game when it came to his drop at the goal line.
Film back from the Rams game. I know you mentioned the conditions might have played a factor in some of the missed opportunities, but what were your takeaways watching it back?
That damn snow. Yeah. It was tough. A lot of opportunities left out there. I'm not the one to make excuses but I hold on to that ball 99 times, but it happens. It happens, and when stuff like that happens, your attention to detail has to go up, and in that moment, I slipped. So I'm human. It is what it is. But I still have all the confidence in the world within myself, and my guys, my teammate, my quarterback. So it is what it is.
I think that's the best possible way you can explain that. And I know we talked about it after the game, just saying that the weather, had an impact. And he was like, hell yeah, the weather had an impact, all that. But he really broke it down as far as that answer went. And I think that's the perfect way to say it. He doesn't, hey, look, it's not an excuse. And I don't like it. Sometimes people will label everything an excuse. But if someone's trying to explain what happened, they're not trying to say, well, obviously it wouldn't have happened had it been for this. But in this situation, he's like, look, if it wasn't snowing, do I catch that ball? Absolutely. But when it is snowing or there are elements affecting the game, then I have to make sure that my attention to detail is also elevated, and it was not in that moment. If that had something to do with the other drop that he had in the opening drive or the second drive of the game, I think it was, where he was in triple coverage and Jalen Hurts threw a perfect pass to him and it hit him right in the hands and he dropped it. Well, then, yeah, maybe the attention to detail has to go up in that situation as well. So that's all the things that you're looking at when it comes to the performance of A.J. Brown last week and what to be expected in this week. Now, one of the reasons I bring this up is because you're listening to guys like Chris Sims in the national media. You're listening to Alex Smith in the national media go out there and talk about how the snow saved the Eagles. The snow saved the Eagles. And they're lucky that it was snowing. Was there some phenomenon going on in that game? Some weather phenomenon, some meteorological phenomenon where it only snowed and stuck when the Rams had the football? Is that what happened? Because when I watched the game, it was like, oh, the second half, it's really snowing. Blizzard-like conditions, and the Eagles had the football, and the Rams had the football, and the Eagles got bailed out by the snow. The Eagles had issues because of the snow as well, but somehow, probably because they got a better offensive line, probably because they have a better running back, still managed to win the football game. Oh, yeah, and the other thing, the Eagles were extremely aggressive. And did the Eagles not put the ball on the grass or the snow when Jalen Hurts fumbled the football? But did the Eagles not have someone like Kenny Gainwell to be Johnny on the spot to pick up that football? Are you serious? The Chris Sims thing that I haven't really even talked about yet, because why? Like Chris Sims, like really? But the thing that he said about it was the 5 plays. You take away 5 plays, and the Eagles, the fumbles, the big runs, and the Rams won the majority of the plays. You know what that reminded me of, in case you didn't know what that reminded me of?
Take away the scoreboard.
Take away the scoreboard. Chris Sims knows that Micah Parsons said that, right? And we were all like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's pretty stupid. Why would you say that? And then Chris Sims is like, yeah, take away 5 plays. 5 of them? Really? Take away a 44-yard touchdown run, take away a 62-yard touchdown run, take away a 72-yard touchdown run, and take those away. You take away the takeaways of the Eagles. You take those away. It's a different ballgame. Oh, so you mean football happened? You mean they played football and then football happened? Where one team made big plays and another didn't, where one team turned the football over and the other team didn't, and then the team that did the good stuff, they won? Oh, my goodness gracious. And it wasn't all because of the snow. The Eagles had to play in that snow as well. Good gracious, people. It doesn't hurt to be like, then the Eagles are really good at football. Wow. How about that? Oh, they were better than the Rams. Well, they were lucky. Really? Really? Who are you? Glenn Hurricane Schwartz? All of a sudden, you're detecting weather patterns that are only happening when the Eagles have the football, or the only when the Rams have the football? That's fascinating. That's fascinating. You and Cecily Tynan need to hang out. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I hated just about everything from the national media this week when it came to the game. Just about everything. I didn't like it even a little bit. There was one thing I did like. Two things, actually. The one is that the Eagles were selling the snow. You've seen this by now, I would hope. The Eagles were selling the snow from the NFC divisional playoff win over the Rams. I think I can't remember. Was it $50? Was it $50? Oh, damn. I had it in my notes. It was I don't have the price on here, but it looked like it was ice cream. It looked like it was ice cream. And credit to Dave Uram, KYW News Radio, for asking the question of Darius Slay. Hey, they're selling the snow. Did you know about that?
Did you hear the Eagles are selling the snow? Did you hear that?
I heard that. Like, what are they doing? They just scooping and putting in things like ice cream?
I think from the picture, it looks like it's in a bucket, if I'm not mistaken.
Dang, that's crazy. So somebody gonna really buy snow?
It's sold out already.
People bought snow?
Sold out.
That's why it's the best city, man. Cause they passionate around here, man. We buying snow. I love it. I love it. You know what? Let me go pack some snow up right now before they can go buy mine.
How about that?
So does it become water? At like they just selling water? $50. Yeah, it was $50, and it was just sold out, just like that. Bam, gone, done. I don't know if they had did it come with like some kind of liquid nitrogen or something that keeps the snow and not water? Whatever. They sold out in seconds. And Darius Slay keeps it real when talking about that snow. God bless him. And you know what? For the people that just need to have the snow, God bless you too. I don't get. I mean, you're buying a bucket, is what you're buying. Darn ridiculous, if you ask me. But hey, good for them. You know, people's fandom. Hey, Dad, they're selling snow. Ugh. There we go. I mentioned it was a Tommy and me last night with my dad. I told him about it's like a good Italian Dago red. He gets better with age. My dad goes, he didn't say that. I go, oh, Dad, he said it. He goes, oh, okay. That's hilarious. So Jaden Daniels, very good at playing quarterback. And I really like Jaden Daniels. I don't like that he plays for the Commanders. I don't like that he's in the division. And to quote Ray Didinger from last night, it's going to be a problem for 15 years in the NFC East with Jaden Daniels. What I'm rooting for, though, at this point is him to be like a Carson Wentz, where it's like, wow, an insane, first full years, or not first full years it started, but insane young player that looks comfortable as anything and can do some special things. And then all of a sudden, a couple years later, ooh, that was a bust, that kind of thing. That's what I'm hoping for as someone who likes the Eagles to win football games. But if I'm the Eagles and I'm approaching this game, that you split against them. It has to have some form of comfort to know that they had their starting quarterback for 2 games, all right, and they split. The Eagles had their starting quarterback for 1 game and 4 throws, 11 snaps, and then he was out of the game and their backup had to come in. And even with that, the Eagles were still 1 Devontae Smith catch away from icing that game and not giving Jaden Daniels the opportunity to be as special as he has been in the 4th quarter. How special has he been? I'll tell you how special he's been in the fourth quarter. Jaden Daniels in the fourth quarter this season, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's pretty good. His passer rating is the highest in any quarter. Fourth quarter, he's got a passer rating of 113.4. That's pretty good. He's got a completion percentage that is also the best that it is in any other quarter for Jaden Daniels. Now, usually, first and second quarter, he's got a completion percentage of 69. Nice. In third quarter, it dips a little bit. But fourth quarter, it's the best. 71.1%. That's his completion percentage in the fourth quarter. So Jaden Daniels is pretty good in the fourth quarter. Oh, and then one more thing. Every other quarter, he's sacked like at least 10 times, 11 times, 12 times, 13 times. In the fourth quarter, he has sacked the fewest times, only 8. That's throughout the entire season. In the fourth quarter, that's what he's been able to do. So you talk about a guy that has some laser focus. You talk about a guy that wants to end things on a good note. You want to talk about a comeback kid type thing. I know that's Joe Montana. But you want to talk about that type of guy? That's Jaden Daniels. So my biggest thing going into this game is that Jaden Daniels just won't go away. I need a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. Like I need a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's what I need. And if you don't have that against Jaden Daniels, it's gonna be a nail-biting ending. And I just when I go into the deep dark recesses of my brain, in the most pessimistic spots of my brain, you know what I think about? I think about another game-winning touchdown drive, and the guy that catches that ball is a man who I have come to love, Zach Ertz. That's what haunts me. Jaden Daniels to Zach Ertz. Please don't let that happen. I do think, and I've said this before, but I do think that the one thing that I look at in this game that really does scare me is the not just Jaden Daniels at the end, but the one thing I think about when I go back to this game is that you're really going to miss Nakobe Dean. And I'm glad that Oren Burks got 100% of the defensive snaps. And look, we're all pulling for Jeremiah Trotter Jr., obviously, but ultimately what we're doing is pulling for the Eagles. And if Oren Burks gives the Eagles the best opportunity to win a football game, then Oren Burks is going to be out there, and he's hopefully going to be deflecting passes and getting into the backfield and covering tight ends if he needs to, whatever. That's what we're going to be looking for. That's what we're going to be hoping for in this game. So when it comes to what you could get from Oren Burks, yeah, you got big shoes to fill still. I'm glad you got one start under your belt already going into this one, because for the defense, it's going to be all hands on deck. All hands on deck. I'm glad that you have a guy like Quenyon Mitchell that it is looking okay, and even said right after the game that he was fine. He was going to be out there and was out there yesterday at practice, walk through, if you will. I love all that. Love all that coming together. And hopefully it remains like that come Sunday when the Eagles kick off with the Washington Commanders. One of the things that I really did like about this game was, yes? You need help catching Rory? She's down here? How'd she get down here?
I don't know. I closed the gate.
Somebody didn't close the gate? Is that person in this room right now who didn't close the gate?
I closed the gate.
You closed the gate?
Yes.
So how'd Rory get down here? Huh?
Maybe he scratched it.
She
Scratched it. And then he opened it.
You're lying.
I'm not.
We having a lion problem?
Not so bad.
I think we're having a lion problem, folks. God bless her. I told her, hey, give me at least to like that midway point of the show. She was down here in the first opening segment. Boy, oh boy. I did see one thing while I put this up. Bob Kelly, my man, pots and pans. How long till a kid grabs the pint and eats the snow thinking it's vanilla ice cream? I'm gonna like that. Yeah, right. How about that? It won't be long before that happens. Okay. Come on there, computer. There we go. So yeah, that's what you got going on there with all those wonderful people. I don't know if you guys saw this now, but there was a story on ESPN yesterday by Tim McManus, and it's a great piece. And it has to do with my man. And when he came to town. And when Vic Fangio came into Philadelphia, he let the Eagles know exactly who he was right out of the gate. And what I absolutely loved about the story was that it's exactly what any Philadelphian would want out of their defensive coordinator. And to say that Vic Fangio is an old school guy is even an understatement. And as I always tell you guys, one of my favorite quotes in history of Philadelphia sports is Charlie Manuel talking about Chase Utley. And he was asked about Chase Utley, and he was like, "Hey, what about Chase Utley in this hustle? How, do you love that old school mentality?" And Charlie Manuel, of all people, goes, "That's not old school. That's good school." And Vic Fangio is not old school. He's good school. Now, unfortunately, we think that the best things are always the things of the past, right? Well, Vic Fangio laid down law and order when it came to this Eagles defense. And reading the story by Tim McManus on ESPN yesterday is required reading for Eagles fans. Because one of the things that I loved was when Vic Fangio got here, you heard from all the different players about, I love, Vic's great. He's this, he's that, he's awesome. Jalen Carter had great things to say about him. Jordan Davis had great things to say about him. Zach Bond had great things to say about him. Go figure, a lot of praise. Brandon Graham. All the stuff that was talked about when he was leaving Miami did not apply, other than, he's an old school guy. Vic's tough and all that. Well, when Vic Fangio came here, according to the story from Tim McManus on ESPN, his opening line to the Eagles defense, this is your new boss comes in. It's not your fault you don't work hard. Okay, you have my attention. It's not your fault. You just don't know how. But that's going to change now that I'm here. That is movie quality. Look, I know a lot of times people it's misrepresented what happens at halftime of football games. Like people think that this rah-rah speech happens and they come out of the gates in the second half and they really dominate. No, it's kind of dull by all accounts that I've gotten. Very rarely do you have anybody say anything of note. There might be adjustments made. You might grab an orange slice or something. Maybe a banana. I don't know. Get the potassium going. But that's what happens. It's not that Al Pacino any given Sunday. Anyone raise your hand? That kind of thing. Still one of my favorite lines from LL Cool J. After that, if you know, you know. But yeah, he comes in here and when he meets the team, he goes, "Yeah, guess what? It's not your fault. You work hard. You just didn't know how." So the player that he highlights here is Milton Williams. And he says, Milton Williams says, work hard? Like, imagine going into a room for professional athletes that did have to work hard to get to that spot. And you're like, hey, guess what? You haven't worked hard yet. That's a nice to meet you moment from Vic Fangio. And what I love is that, look, you're winning. You win? Oh, you could sell swampland, if you're winning. You could sell it without a problem. But to come off of last year, to come in with a reputation, and yeah, you had already been around the Eagles once when you were a consultant leading up to that Super Bowl there against the Chiefs. But what the Eagles did with Vic Fangio is turn things around. And what Tim McManus highlights is that the Eagles defense was coming off a dismal, to use his word, 2023 season, as we all remember, where they finished 31st in the league in passing and 30th in points allowed, 29th in the red zone. They had the switch over from Desai to Matt Patricia when they were 10-3. That's funny. And they made what they thought was a necessary change. I said at the time, it's so crazy that it has to work. And it's so crazy that it'll work. And it didn't. I didn't think it was a good idea, but it was so stupid that I thought, okay, they're not doing this unless they really know. And they didn't. It was dumb. Should have went with my initial reaction or my initial gut feeling, I should say. And yeah, it was pretty terrible. And then we've all seen this resurgence in the Philadelphia Eagles defense. And not only the resurgence of the Philadelphia Eagles defense, but I mean, I know we've only had him 2 years, but Jalen Carter is the guy that he was at the start of last year. He was that throughout this entire year. Jordan Davis is a guy whose name we don't see pop up a lot. And we'd love more, snaps from him. but he still played better than he did last year. The linebacker position. Remember this time last year, we were begging for Zach. Well, this time last year, they were done. But towards the end of the season, we were begging for Zach Cunningham to come back healthy. And now it's like, oh, there's a Pro Bowler. There's an All-Pro, Zach Bond. There's a guy who was just short of that in Nakobe Dean in terms of just short of Pro Bowl. And not a lot of people thought Nakobe Dean was going to be anything. After the first game against the Packers, I went, oh, wow, this is something. And they let Devin Smith go. Devin White go. And he goes to the Texans and plays like 30% of the snaps. So it wasn't like he went down there and was a stud. The Eagles kind of were onto something there and letting him go and making sure Nakobe Dean got those reps. But this turnaround, it's been one of the most miraculous turnarounds. And this is a team that was an 11-win team a year ago. They lost 6 out of their last 7 games. And this team with this run game this year and this team with this defense this year is totally different. What a turnaround. Everywhere you look, it's historic. I mentioned yesterday, 10 interceptions by the safety position this year. Jalen Hurts not turning the football over at the alarming rate that he was from last year going into this year. That's an impressive turnaround. I will say with Jalen, I think that has become his number one concern, other than winning, is not turning the football over. One hell of a year when you talk about defensive turnaround, offensive turnaround, game plan, philosophy. I mean, I never thought that we would ever say, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan base, the Eagles need to stop abandoning the pass. What? Do you mean run? No. I mean pass. No. It's abandoning the run. No, not anymore, Nate. No. Now it's abandoning the pass. That's the world we live in right now. Never thought that'd be a thing, but it's a thing, baby. Oh, it's a thing. It's a thing. Vic Fangio is a big part of that turnaround. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is a big part of that turnaround. And Jalen Hurts not turning the football over, a big part of that turnaround. And Howie Roseman. Talk about turnarounds. Look, we can all make the jokes about the broom closet and whatever, moved out when Chip Kelly came in and all that. But, man, since he has come back, I mean, talk about things that were so stupid that had to work. What general manager gets banished from the land, then brought back, and then is supposed to be good at their job all of a sudden? Exactly what Howie did. After the Chip Kelly debacle, Howie Roseman built a Super Bowl champion team. One of the deepest teams, if not the deepest team in the history of the NFL. Missing starters, missing Pro Bowlers, missing future Hall of Famer, maybe. Missing a future Hall of Famer. We could certainly say that about Jason Peters. Halapulavati Vaitai being your left tackle in that game. Shout out again to Stoutland University. Won a Super Bowl, then was back 5 years later with a different quarterback and a different head coach, and now is 1 win away from going to yet another one. A third Super Bowl within, 8 years? That's a nice run. For Howie Roseman. Oh, and I can't forget about those defensive backs, both nickel and corner, and Cooper DeJean and Quentin Mitchell. Not too bad either. Not too bad at all right there. One hell of a turnaround year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. So go to the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Don't forget to toggle the all-in pricing feature so you see exactly what you're paying before you check out. And the Game Time picks feature so you can filter out all the fluff and get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. Want to go to a game, concert, comedy show, whatever it might be, Game Time app has you covered. Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARS to get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about Brett over at Sky Motorcars? SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how your wonderful people are doing on this fine Thursday morning, everybody. Nice to see. I even looked at the chat. But as far as I know, my microphone could have been off this whole time. Dee-dop-bop-a-doop-bop. Dev, what's up? Farzy on the town. We need a day in the life of Farzy and friends. Behind the scenes making. Yeah. Jason A, good morning. April, good morning. Hope you're doing okay in the snow. Raycon Purnell, good morning, go Birds. Good morning, go Birds. Seen Tommy and me. Oh, you saw it last Sunday. A must see. Jeff, that's awesome. One of the things, and according to your avatar, I'll just say it just in case. Thank you for your service. When Seth Joyner hosted the Talkback, I hosted last night. Seth hosted last week, 2 weeks ago. Matt Pfeiffer is the guy that plays Ray in the play, and he was sick. So Ray had to play Ray. I hope Ray Dinger charged $1 million for those tickets because he would have gotten it. And it apparently was fantastic, as one would assume. Tate, what's going on? Only in Philly. Why Niners flag? Good morning, Farzy friend. Nice and warm day in Fangio land today. It's gonna be 12 outside. Yeah, I could go for some warmer weather, please. Dakota Warren, only Birds fans, baby. Only Birds fans. JJ, good morning. Eagle Nation from Southern New Jersey. Southern New Jersey? You mean South Jersey? What's going on? Let's go Sixers. What's going on? Sean Kilray, hello. Haha. Like talking to Andy Reid? What? Come on. Alvin Reland, hello. What's up, bro? Me and 3 friends from school had a project where we have to interview people about Trump and Greenland. What? And we need to interview an American. We can just type the questions in the chat. There's only 5. Oh, this is on Twitch. You're hitting me up via Twitch? Nobody watches on Twitch. But I am curious to scroll through this and see if you actually ask me questions. I do not like politics. Eagles rookie Quentin Mitchell says he is good to go for Sunday with no limitations after injuring his shoulder against the Rams. Sean Kilrain reports. Thank you, Sean. Luke Skylifter, what's going on? So many questions for the snow. Is my bucket of snow from the 50-yard line, the end zone? Was it being kicked around by Jake Elliott and special teams unit before a field goal? That would have been amazing. Just people from the Eagles Pro Shop out there in the snow, just scooping it up and putting it in buckets. Hold on, Jake. We'll get it. Can use it to cool a drink. That'd be awesome. Think his mobility is limited because of the conditions. And don't think Hurts national media wants to believe. When Jalen balls out this week, I can't wait for post-game press. Oh, can't wait for the post-game presser. JJ says Eagles 34, Commanders 28. I'm in that realm. Media trying to say Jalen got the most pressure on him this week. I mean, I guess because Jaden Daniels playing with house money. Northeast Sports, what's going on? AJ not going to get the ball as much in this offense, which is run oriented based. Yeah. I'd love to see AJ get the ball more. Brian, what's going on? Morning, Farzy. I don't, man. Daniels makes a wee bit nervous. What? Deontay Lewis, what's good, Farzy? I have faith in these birds. We're going to handle business Sunday. AJ going to get this man. Going to get his man. Okay. The Chris Sims take's embarrassing on his part. Same take as Micah. Right? You take away the scoreboard. Not Hurricane Schwartz. You're welcome. You know, I don't like to brag, but I was once in a play. It was actually the last play I was ever in. And it was a friend of mine was, what was she doing? I think she was in it. And they needed someone to fill in at the last minute. Literally a week before the play, there's like these 5 small parts that they needed played. And she's like, do you want to do a play? I was like, not really. She's like, we need you to do a play. I was like, all right, fine. So I was like this, I don't know to get into it. But for the play, because it was set in like the 20s, they needed bow ties. And Glenn Hurricane Schwartz donated bow ties to the play. And in one of the scenes, I wore a Glenn Hurricane Schwartz bow tie. I know. Calm yourself down with the excitement of that story. Boop. John Elway. Well, John Elway in 1998 threw for 2,806 yards, 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So obviously he sucks. Dakota Warren, I can't even listen to the national media right now. The disrespect is crazy. Sims and Orlovsky's strategy is to be pass happy all game, throw 40 times, and play from behind. What a strategy! I can see why they weren't good. You have to listen. Not buying any damn snow. I don't blame it. Wait, Yum 9 Slim, stop. Not going to happen. What? Hum Solo, great name. Quick huddle game. I hope so. Yeah, A's, I did not see that. I'll have to check that out. Jaden Daniels is a bad boy. Yeah, bad being good. I hear you. QB lover, little voice. Don't encourage. This isn't a daycare. No, I'm kidding. People saying, good morning, little toots. Rory is a cat. They jump over. Rory can't clear this gate because it's right by the steps. And I close it. And I even capped it. I put a screen, a panel on the gate so you can't finagle through. What happened was little toots left it open. 100%. Being a dad is a full-time job. Yeah. Working from home. Good times. Oh, that's nice. Favorite guest is making her surprise appearance, right? T-Bro, what's going on? Bob Kelly, TikTok, or tick clock, tick clock. Real MP, just the real RMP. Just know I see that comment. I'm not putting it up, but that's hilarious. Hey, what's you gonna get in North Philly? You know what I mean? James says, "Hey all, what's going on?" James Huffman, defense will take care of business on Sunday. Offense will show the world. Oh, why Niners wine? Eagles 47, Commies 13. I'm not far from that. I just feel like everyone's going to be anticipating this close game, and I just feel like the Eagles are going to blow them out. I would love to say that Fangio's third attempt at stopping Jaden Daniels is going to be the charm, but it wasn't terrible. The first game, one of the things going back watching this stuff in the first game, something I just totally forgot about was the Dallas Goedert fumble that Grant Calcaterra jumped on. You ever finish a thing of chapstick? Did I stop taking notes? I didn't write the week in my notes like an idiot. This is a KS touchdown. Pittsburgh game. Carolina game. Yeah, okay, this is the first game. The screen is that's right. McLaurin wasn't targeted in the first game until the second half. That's hilarious. Eagles are up 19-10. Goddard fumbles after a 38-yard catch, and Grant Calcaterra jumps on it in the fourth quarter at 7:55 mark of the fourth quarter. Thank God. I actually took good notes this game. And then Barkley had a touchdown. That made it 19-10. So it was 12-10 before that. And then they got the touchdown of the Barkley 23-yard touchdown run. Made it 19-10. But that doesn't happen if Grant Calcaterra isn't Johnny on the spot and jump on that loose football punched out by the Commanders from the arm of Dallas Goedert. Then Blankenship got that was 20. This is one of my favorite Barkley things from the season that not enough people talk about. Saquon Barkley ran for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns in 20 seconds, people, in that first game against the Commanders. Dallas fumbles it. Calcaterra recovers. Barkley scores on the 23-yard touchdown run, 19-10. Reed Blankenship interception. Saquon Barkley runs for 39 yards and a touchdown. 39-yard touchdown run makes it 26-10. 2 touchdowns, 62 yards in 20 seconds. It's my favorite part of the season. It's my favorite part. It was my favorite Saquon thing, even more so than the Rams game. Just because it was like the Eagles were really up against it late in the fourth quarter, and Saquon's like, 2 touchdowns in 20 seconds, coming right up. You know, call him Superman for nothing. And then in the other game, Jalen leaves, and there's still a Devontae Smith drop away from winning that football game. And Frankie Louvu, stay the hell away from our quarterback. Sean Kilray, 34-21 Eagles. I hope so. Oh, you met John Blaris in Old City, did you? There you go. Didn't end well, meaning predicting that big. Oh, we all remember that. Can't discredit Daniels, but overall, we're a much better team. Play clean, and we're going to go to the Super Bowl. Philly D, I agree. Brian Waddington. Farzy, hello. TikTok 6 o'clock. I think I know what you're going to do. Oh, boy. April, Rory can't clear the gate yet. I could tell you all sorts of stories from where I thought I had a cat-proofed something. That's great. Like everybody think of Slaps, what's up? AJ is a questionable sleeper. Is questionable on sleeper. Okay. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful, as per usual. Jason A, hello. James Hoffman, different take care of business. Yeah, there we go. Twiz, I missed you again. Farzy, what's going on? Carter's a beast, but CJ is our linchpin on defense. We look like 23. We look like 23. Oh, 2023. Without him when he got booted. Yeah, lost that. Yeah. In that game, you lost your starting quarterback and your safety. That's not. I wouldn't hang my hat on that game. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Oh, did I get Mr. Salmon? My high school football coach was Franco Harris. Oh, it was Franco Harris's coach in high school. That was real football training. That's cool. That's really cool. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful, as per usual. Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Eagles, of course, we're all waiting to see the rest of the practice report from later today. Sixers are going to be back at it. Yeah, they're still playing basketball. Well, sort of, some of them. They're 15-27 on the year. They host the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Make sure you guys catch me on Locked On Sports Philadelphia for your Locked On 76ers postcast after that one. The Cavs just took a tough L last night, folks. That's a shame. So they dropped to 36-7, so now they suck. They just lost to the Rockets, 109-108. Oh, who went to the line last night for them? Garland went to the line last night. Darius Garland went to the free throw line for 3 free throws because he was fouled. They tried to close him out at the three-point line, didn't allow him to come down. Came down, fell to the ground after making contact with, I forget who it was for the Rockets. Goes to the free throw line with their team. Cavs down 2, I believe it was. Goes to the free throw line with an opportunity to give the Cavs a lead with 2 seconds left in the game. Yeah, they're down 2. 2 seconds left. Oh, it was Segan that fouled him. Was it Segan? Fred VanVleet? I don't know. I can't see it. And then Darius Garland misses the first, misses the second, makes the third to make it a 1-point game. And then that was it. Donovan Mitchell got a shot off and missed it. Wah, 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 wah. Flyers, ladies and gentlemen, who've only won 3 in a row, got a season-long 6-game point streak going for themselves, hon. They're going to be up in New York tonight to take on the Rangers at 7 o'clock. That's your morning rush. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Also, download the Game Time app. Create an account. If you want to go to a game, a concert, a comedy show, download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Thanks, everybody. Be back with you guys tomorrow morning for the Farzy Show. Working on a special guest. He has committed to interviewing. Just a matter of nailing down the time. My only hint will be that he might not be able to do it because he's at a salsa competition. That's right. That's right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. Like and subscribe to the Farzy Show, please and thank you, on YouTube. Like and subscribe to Jacob Media on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the Seth Joyner Show on YouTube for all your Eagles pre- and post-game needs. And make sure you like and subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia, where yours truly brings you your Sixers postcasts after every game. And not too much longer, Phillies postcasts as well. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See you tomorrow. Bye. Okay, for real.